Hello everybody, I hope you're all well. Sorry this is a bit late, had a bit of a strange hectic day today. My little boy Aaron has seemed to have picked up some new words. I think he's learnt them from teenagers, so I had a little bit of an issue there with him, but me and his mum are working on it. Okay, this is going to be the number 8 video in the self-hypnosis meditation series that I have been doing. With these, you would have heard me say in a previous video that these were originally recorded in a particular type of stereo that is best listened to through headphones. And when you are watching these videos on YouTube, the sound is being processed through my camera, and it's not the best quality that it could be. And I have said that I will send the original audio files to those that wish to have them. I've had a lot of interest in this from you guys out in YouTube land, but also I have quite a few subscribers that prefer to contact me through email. My YouTube channel was put on my company newsletter, and I've had a few people through email. So I've had quite a deluge of requests for these audio files. If I've got your email addresses, I promise you will get these audio files at some point, but I will only be doing 1 or 2 a week. So if you're still waiting, you're thinking, why hasn't Aid sent them to me? If I have your email address, you will get them at some point, given time, I promise you. The other thing was, one of you guys, you'll know who you are. I won't say your name. I know you don't like to be put out on YouTube, which is fine. Some people prefer to keep it a bit more private. They don't want to put their thoughts, for the world to see on YouTube, so that's fine. But you watch my videos, and you also watch Gray's videos. And by the way, Gray, 200 subscribers, brilliant, well done buddy, you really deserve it. I still enjoy watching your videos, so that's great. This YouTube community thing that started 5 or 6 months ago, when we both started doing it, it's just rocketed, and that's really great. It seems to be growing, so really happy for you, well done. Hope to do some work with you soon, if possible. We've spoken about that in email, so that's going to happen, I hope. You'll know who you are. You watched Gray's last video, and Gray commented that what we're doing here, we're trying to cure tinnitus, get people cured of it rather than just coping with it. And you asked me, in my opinion, do I think tinnitus is curable? Of course I do. Of course I do. Absolutely I do. Why do I think this? My first reason for thinking this, after hearing all the negative things from the mainstream medical fraternity, after hearing a lot of negative things, and also negative forums, and I advise any of you guys out there, don't go on these negative forums, they are not helpful. Why do I think it's curable? Why do I think this? I was lucky enough to meet Julian Cohen-Hill, and when I met Julian, he can say that he has cured himself of tinnitus. He can say this. He used to have tinnitus so bad he could not even hear the phone ringing. That's how bad Julian had it. And now he lives a tinnitus-free life. He says sometimes when he gets a cold, it will come back slightly, but for the majority of his life, he now lives a tinnitus-free life. He doesn't have it at all. So he can say he has cured himself. So that's my first real reason that I can give why I think it is curable, because I've met a man that has cured himself. More importantly than that, and probably with more impact from my personal view, why do I think it's curable? I started to have moments minutes, then hours of what I will call true peace and true silence after using the methods that I've been putting out there. Calming the nervous system, whatever methods you use, calming the nervous system, calming the mind. From that, I had an entire day of what I'm going to call true peace and silence, where the tinnitus, I could not detect it, it wasn't there, and usually when I think about it, my mind seeks it out, but on this day it didn't, and I had a whole day of it, and I made a video about this. Further on from that, the tinnitus did return, however, it did return. Further on from that, however, when I went on holiday to Yarmouth, the first morning I woke up in Yarmouth, and I made a video about this, so please feel free to go and check that one out. I woke up and my tinnitus was not present. I could not hear it. For the whole day it wasn't there, and for the whole first 3 full days of being away in Yarmouth, I will say, and I'm going to say this, it was like my tinnitus was not there. I could not detect it. Even at night time when I went to bed, and I usually hear it to some degree, I couldn't hear it even when I thought about it. When I thought about it, and I try not to, but I did. I don't think it's possible to not think about it sometimes. That even when I thought about it, where is it? It was not there, it was not present. Now whether this was because my mind had put the sound of my tinnitus so far in the background that it wasn't detectable, I don't know. But it felt like it wasn't there. And for me, at this point, and I'm sure for a lot of you, to have that amount of time, 3 days, 3 whole days of not hearing this noise in my head, was absolutely wonderful, incredible, amazing. And it was like it wasn't there, and that to me, I won't say cured, because it has returned to me. Yet again, the tinnitus has returned to me. But those 3 days, it was like, I felt like as good as being cured. I couldn't hear it. It wasn't with me for 3 days. And this is why, if my mind is capable of removing the sound of this noise that I hear as tinnitus, my own sound, which is a high-pitched squeal, if my mind is capable of removing that sound from my conscious thought for that amount of time, 3 days, it is capable for doing it for longer, to a point of where it is permanent, as Julian Cohen-Hill has done. Whether that means the tinnitus is removed to a point so far back in the mind that it's not detectable, that's good enough for me. I'd call that, you know, I'd call that, if I can get to that stage, which I believe I can, and I think I'm on that road to recovery. If I can get to that stage where I don't hear it apart from 1 or 2 days during a year, or even 1 or 2 days during a month, that says to me that it's curable. So to answer your question in short, do I think tinnitus is curable? Yes, of course I do. That's why I'm trying to put this message out there with these videos. I think it is curable. I just think it's finding the methods and ways to get there. That's what I think. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, so now we're going to get into the meditation file number 8. So I'm going to hand over to Andrew Parr. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Okay, let's let Andrew take over.
Hello, welcome back once again. This is here. I hope you've been listening to these exercises in order, because they are designed very specifically to take you through a series of stages that I believe your mind, your brain, your body needs to go through in order to achieve what you want to achieve with this. What we've done, we started off very simply, helping you just relax with a simple relaxation exercise you can use. Then we've shown you a very quick way to help you calm down, to de-stress in any situation. And that exercise is a springboard then for beginning to access inner worlds, inner realms within you, and to communicate with your mind, your body. We then began to teach your mind to focus on what you want. Focusing on what you want is very, very important, as I've said repeatedly throughout this program. Most people try to get what they want by focusing on what they don't want. But all you get is more of the same. When you switch your mind to focusing on what you do want, everything begins to point in that direction. However, the next exercise was designed to look at any potential obstacles or beliefs or ideas or feelings or emotions that may be pulling you in the opposite direction. And we look to turn that around by identifying them. By bringing them into your awareness, begins to loosen their hold over you, like throwing the switch on that moving staircase, so it begins to move in the same direction. We then went through the visualization exercises to begin the process of neuroplasticity for you, to stimulate that process. In the same way that's been used so successfully in so many medical areas that have completely defied the belief of specialists, doctors and experts. And we've given you an exercise to begin to use that, to stimulate that within you. And now I want to do a very simple thing with you, just to begin to retrain your hearing system too. Because it's very important that you become much more externally focused. Much more externally focused. So we want your hearing system to be focused far more on the external sounds in the world, like it used to. And so that is what this next exercise is all about for you. So whenever you're ready, you can make yourself comfortable in the way you know how. As always, just making sure telephone's switched off, or you won't be disturbed for a while, or the lighting is dimmed, you're warm, you're comfortable. And so we can begin. Now, I'm sure you're becoming quite an expert at this by now, but resting comfortably, have your hands, your palms facing upwards, curl your toes up. Tilt your head back and look at a spot or an imaginary spot on the ceiling. And take that first big deep breath in through your mouth. And as you breathe out, just closing down your eyes. Closing down your eyes. Breathing in once again. This time as you breathe out, allowing your heavy head to fall forwards. Breathing in once again. As you breathe out, just turning your hands over, turning your arms over so they can relax. Breathing in once more. Nice big deep breath, and as you breathe out, just sagging your shoulders, making your shoulders sag right the way down. Breathing in once again. This time just releasing the toes, relaxing the toes. And then one more, breathing in. And really just pretending that the whole of the top of your body is feeling loose, limp and lazy like jelly. Your bones, your muscles, everything loose, just like jelly. So you can begin to go deeper now. As you go deeper, I want you to think about that nighttime city scene, the cityscape. Beautiful skyscrapers, the lights on. But you're switching the lights off now, one by one. Watch the lights going out. just becoming darker and darker. And as the lights switch off, so you're switching off some of the feelings, the sensations in your body, your muscles, your nerves and so on, just so that you can relax even more. And eventually, when all those lights are switched off, you're just relaxing in a very comfortable darkness. Yeah, that's good. Just drifting there for a while. As your mind, your body just begins to settle down and go deeper into deeper levels of calmness, peace, tranquility. That's good. Now, I want you to imagine that you're going on a journey. You're just going for a little walk. And on this walk, I am going to suggest to you things that you may be able to hear. And I want you to imagine that you can actually hear them. And I want you to practice the idea that you can begin to focus on these sounds, taking more notice of them, paying attention to the quality of those sounds that you may begin to imagine that you can hear. And as you do this as an exercise here with me, I want you then to repeat this exercise as you go out into the world, so that you begin to focus on the external sounds around you, just beginning to notice them more and more. The subtle qualities of cars, footsteps, planes, birds, voices, and so on. But that will make more sense in a few moments. Right now, I want you to follow this journey with me, and I want you to see if you can imagine hearing the sounds I want you to imagine. So I want you to imagine that you're waking up in the morning, and I want you to imagine that you can hear the traffic outside. But I want you to really listen to the sound of that traffic, the sounds of it. Now and again, perhaps the traffic subsides. It goes quiet. And when it does, I want you to imagine that you can hear birdsong. And I want you to listen to that birdsong. I want your attention to focus in on that birdsong. As if it's the most important thing for you to listen to in that moment. want you to imagine you're standing outside. And I want you to imagine that you can hear an airplane going overhead. In the distance, quietly. And I want you to listen to the sound of that airplane. I want you to pay attention to what that sound of the airplane sounds like. I want you to imagine that you suddenly hear footsteps nearby. I want you to pay attention to those footsteps. I want you to go for a walk now. But I want you to go for a walk through some woods. And I want you to imagine you're walking with somebody. A friend or someone you know. And I want you to listen to the sounds of your footsteps and to their footsteps as you go through the woods. I want you to imagine that you find a clearing and that you sit very quietly listening to the sounds of the breeze rustling through the leaves in the trees. I want you to imagine that you decide to keep walking, and that you discover a house in the woods, and you hear voices, laughter, celebration. I want you to listen to the sounds of the laughter, the celebration. I want you to discover a car waiting for you, that either you can drive or you can be driven in. And I want you to imagine being driven away in that car now, listening to the sounds of the engine as you do. I want you to imagine that car stops in the countryside, and you decide to walk across some fields, and as you do, you see various countryside creatures there, farmyard type creatures. I want you to imagine you can hear them and listen to the sounds of them now. want you to discover a waterfall. I want you to listen to the sound of that waterfall. As you rest by the waterfall, I want you to imagine that you feel tired, you feel sleepy, and so you rest your body, you rest your head, and I want you to imagine that you fall asleep and that you dream, and that you dream that as you go through life now, your mind begins to be fascinated with the quality of the sounds around you. So much so they begin to be a pleasurable experience for you to listen to them. I want you to dream that as you make your way through life, you enjoy listening to the sounds around you, the sounds of the world around you. And that you have developed a skill to focus in on each sound like a laser beam, noticing the quality of each sound and the world around you. I want you to imagine you dream that you can hear sounds from further and further away that become so pleasing to you. And I want you to make this dream a reality for you. I want you to imagine that when you wake up from that dream, you want to make it a reality for you in your everyday life now. That you too want to be able to focus on the external sounds around you more and more, enjoying the quality, the subtlety, hearing more and more sounds from further and further away. The further away the sound you hear, the more pleasure it seems to bring you. And I want you to become fascinated by this idea of hearing the sounds that are far, far away. And so, I wonder how surprised you'll be when you notice your mind beginning to focus on the sounds that are far, far away. Almost as if the sounds that are over the hills and far away have some kind of beautiful quality to them, whatever they may be. And begin to make you feel peaceful and calm. And I want you to discover that as you go through your daily life now, you begin to be much more externally focused on the world around you, paying attention to the people, objects, experiences, as if they are the most important thing in the world to you in that moment. And I want you to notice that your attention to this expands. Every day, in every way, it expands, allowing you to hear more and more from further and further away, creating a very beautiful experience for you. So that sound begins to be beautiful. And those faraway sounds, whatever they may be, begin to be beautiful. You can relax now. You can stay here for a while relaxing, or you can choose to return to your full awareness whenever you wish. But I'm going to be quiet now, just allowing you to drift in those external sounds far, far away. Thank you.
Okay, I hope this video has been helpful to you. As always, I really like the sound of the last sounds played on this video, the running water and the waves. I find that a really lovely sound to listen to. Anyway, best wishes to all of you, best wishes to everybody. I wish you all well, and I will see you again soon for the next video. Thanks very much.